Base attack is a topic I've spoken about a lot at this point, and I've gone over how important and effective it is as a stat compared to everything else. But one thing people don't really know about, including me before I started this, was how hard is it to get? Because of course we anecdotally know when we roll weapons, roughly how many times we need to roll to get something. I personally have rolled tens and tens of thousands of Reforge Ore, never seen anything above a 7. I've hit 1 7, and everything else is 6 and below, even with tens of thousands used on 40 reroll weapons and below. But I've done a little project here over 2 months at this point of tracking every single base attack or weapon reroll on red weapons that I've done since over 2 months. So it started 21st of February. It's now 23rd of April. So I have in total over 500 rerolls of red weapons here. And my goal with this was to at least put an approximate value on the drop rate of base attack, and then do maths off that and roughly apply values of how much Reforge Ore you're going to require to get a base attack. That will, of course, vary depending on whether it's a 40 reroll weapon, whether it's a 100 reroll weapon. Through all this data tracking, it is on, like, Chris's weapon, and then Aria's weapon, and then on Kevin's weapon, which can roll all base attacks, of course. I think there's some where I rolled it on Kevin's weapon when it was 250 rerolls. So perhaps they have different drop rates. I'm not entirely sure. That wasn't my experience anecdotally, but I have no proof to back that up. I could sit here scrolling forever and ever, and probably still will, but I'll do it like this. Just so there's proof that I've actually put the work in over the months to track all this. And this is all my own data too. I haven't outsourced this at all. So it isn't just people sending me pictures when they roll base attacks, which can skew data like this at points. This is just every single roll of a weapon I've done in the past 2 months, basically. So it goes down, down, down. You can see there's a lot of rerolls. I've been buying Reforge Ore with BD. Of course, you have the Alliance boss, Reforge Ore 2. So there's a big data sample here. It could be bigger, of course, but over 500 rerolls, especially with, I'd say, at least half of these being on 100 reroll weapons. There's tens of thousands of Reforge Ore having been spent in this little tracking project here. So scrolled through it all just as proof of me actually doing it all, and I pinned here all the times I hit base attack. So at the start I got very lucky. I think at the first, was it 30? Yeah, or 33. I hit 7 base attack rolls, which is absurd, or 8 even, so that's a 20% drop rate. That went down heavily. That corrected itself. Oh my god, it started even hotter than that. So when I started this, I was a bit confused because this didn't match my personal experience, but over time, my luck wore out and it became a bit more as you'd expect. Of course, the highest base attack in this I hit also was, I believe, a 6. I hit maybe a few 6s, so I have a few 6s on my weapons now, but it was mostly 2s and 3s as you would expect. 2, 3, 2, 3, 6, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 4. So you can see, even with this amount of rolls, getting those 7, 8, 9, 10, 11s is very, very difficult, and it will require a lot of luck and a lot of Reforge Ore, undoubtedly. But that was a decent chunk of rambling. The most important part about this is this. So 34 is the amount of base attack rolls I hit in this full data sample. 34 is 6.1%, rounded to the nearest decimal at least, of 557. That means, with a maths workout, you would have to roll, on average, 16.4 times to receive a base attack on a weapon. And that can be even a 2 base attack, so it might necessarily not be something you even care for. The tracking of Doing it according to the base attack you roll would be a lot trickier, I think. You need to outsource that because that is so luck dependent, and you'd need such a big data sample to get any actual information about the high base attack rolls. So this is all the information I can realistically provide myself right now. When you do the maths of this through the 40 Reforge Ore reroll weapons and 100 Reforge Ore reroll weapons, the typical way this is determined is 40 is elite token commanders, 100 is epic token commanders or legendary token commanders. So it averages out at 656 Reforge Ore if you're rolling an elite token commander weapon to receive 1 base attack, and it will average at 1,640 Reforge Ore to roll 1 base attack on an epic token or a legendary token commander weapon. So whether that is good or bad, or better or worse than I was expecting, I'm not entirely sure, honestly, but perhaps people can use it as rough estimates to help them guide their approaches to rerolling their weapons if they're deliberately hoarding up Alliance Boss Reforge Ore to reroll some base attacks or something like that, because you can roughly know about how much is going to be required. And you're at least going to know that if you have like 300 Reforge Ore and you can't roll a base attack and you're raging about it, it's very normal, because even 2 base attacks are going to require a lot of rolls to be able to get them on your weapons. It's just the nature of it, realistically.